Ready?
SuperHot started out as a game jam demo made all the way back in 2013 before becoming a big Kickstarter hit in 2014, raising $250,000, going on to sell over 1 million copies and receiving a successful VR sequel. And now the developers have created a brand new experience for SuperHot fans everywhere. Mind Control Delete is an expansion of everything great from the original, but it isn't without its faults. So let's take a look at MCD as its own product and decide if it's worth a purchase. Now, the main gameplay mechanic of SuperHot is that time moves only when you move, which allows you to dodge bullets and attacks. You can punch your enemies, throw random objects at them, shoot them, slash at them, and even beat at them with bats and pipes. When an enemy is hit by a punch or a non-sharp thrown item, they will drop their weapon, allowing the player to take it and dish damage back at their foes. Mind Control Delete improves in the variety of items and weapons that the player has and is able to use. For example, there's a brand new firearm that is like a sniper rifle that shoots a very quick and fast projectile but takes a bit longer to reload. And of course, there are various new objects spread throughout the levels. The visuals really help the player identify where their enemies are, with almost every one of them being a bright shade of red that greatly contrasts with the clean, wide environments and the completely black shade of items, weapons, and of course the player character itself. Though it is very easy to get attacked from the back, which the game compensates by giving you a warning whenever someone is right up on your neck. The sounds can also help you identify where bullets are coming from. However, playing it safe and always scanning your surroundings is the best way to play. You must take full advantage of the time manipulation and use it wisely, or you'll risk perishing to the many threats that the game offers. Seriously, pay attention. You may think that slowing down time is OP, but trust me, when they say time moves only when you move, that's more of a fluff, because even when you're standing still, time does go forward, only a bit slower, and even when you're only looking around, time moves a bit faster. Speaking of threats, unlike the original SuperHot, which only had a single type of enemy that was able to use various weapons, MCD offers multiple enemy types you'll meet throughout the campaign. They can range from regular red dudes that can use firearms, melee weapons, and their own fists to attack you, white and red dudes that, while having the same abilities as the regular red dudes, only have one red body part and are invulnerable to damage in their white body parts, which allows them to blend with the background in certain situations and require even more thought to be put into elimination methods, considering better accuracy is now required. Corrupted red dudes that explode into a shower of bullets whenever killed, and the super ultra mega powerful red dudes. Now these fellas are a real threat. They are unkillable but can be stunned. Your only way of beating them is completing the current level as fast as possible. The Omega dudes come in 3 forms. One kneels down before leaping towards the player, the other throws a katana towards you and can bring it back to himself using his own mind, and the final one can switch places with the player, causing confusion and putting you in bad situations. Each of these 3 echo a special chord that you can get and use throughout the game, which leads into the structure of MCD. The original SuperHot was a linear shooter with a focused story. It had a narrative about the player becoming addicted to the game and fully giving himself into it by the end. MCD focuses on the endless cycle this game offers. Unlike its predecessor, it features a less linear map system where you choose which node to tackle next. Nodes come in various types, be it simple text nodes that give you clues into deeper meanings in the story, hack nodes where you can unlock new hacks to use during the main nodes, core nodes where you unlock new cores after going through a full node, and story nodes that advance the plot. Now, with all this talk about node this, node that, you might be wondering how a node even works. Well, Once you select one from the menu, you will be able to choose between your preferred core, which is a based upgrade for your character. More, which gives you one more heart. Yeah, unlike the original SuperHot, where it was one shot then game over, MCD operates in a heart system that lasts throughout the entire node. So if you lose all your hearts, it's game over. There's also Recall, which allows you to bring a thrown katana back to you using the power of your mind. Charge, which lets you teleport right in front of an enemy and sucker punch him. And finally Hot Switch, which is a big carryover from the first game and lets you switch places with an enemy to reposition yourself. After selecting your core, you will go through a gauntlet of random levels that become more corrupted as the game goes on, with strange visual glitches and even red growths that explode when hit or approached. After a set number of levels, you are allowed to unlock a special hack. These hacks can give your attacks extra quirks, like giving you more powerful throws, ricocheting bullets, penetrating bullets, or even heal and give you more hearts. Some end up being more useful than others, and some just fit certain playstyles better. But the hacks do the best they possibly can to compensate for the fact that the levels repeat a bit too much in my opinion. Some of them almost never show up, while others seem to show up on every node. And while enemy spawns and your spawn points as well as small level quirks are different every time, it doesn't seem to compensate enough for the game not to start to get tiresome after the halfway mark. It just feels like you're going through the same process over and over and over again, which makes sense in the story, but it doesn't really make gameplay that entertaining. That is, of course, until the very last few nodes. Throughout MCD, you are treated to multiple repeats of the ending of the original SuperHot, all slightly modified and building up to the final stretch, where you must face 3 special nodes that can only be played using a specific core. Once you reach the end of these nodes, you have to give up that core completely and delete it from your system, and then move on to the next. After you give up all your cores, you also have to give up all your hacking powers that you've acquired throughout the way and face one final node. Only you and the red guys, harkening back to the original SuperHot. Of course, you still get to keep your hearts and use the more core, because you've only sacrificed your 3 other cores. Once I reached this, it was one of the highlights of the game for me. It brought me back on board completely. No gimmicks, no more power-ups, just the thrill of battle. Just you and the red guys, just like the original SuperHot. And I guess that's when I realized that what I really wanted out of this game wasn't even all the new improvements and new cool things that we had. It was just more SuperHot. I just really liked the original, and I realized that I didn't need the hacks, I didn't need the cores to have fun. All I needed was the base gameplay. The hacks and cores are interesting, but in the end, all I really needed was SuperHot. After clearing the final real node, you only have one more thing to do. Give up completely. And so you give up every ability you have. And I'm not just talking about giving up your hearts or whatever. No, you give up everything. Your ability to hold firearms, your ability to move, your ability to look around until you are completely incapable of doing anything. In this final node, to win, all you have to do is press E. And that's it. You're giving the game full control. And then, it's over. No more fighting, no more violence, just super hot. Just super hot. That's it. It's over. You're at peace. No need to go back. You had your fun. It's time to rest. Oh, who am I kidding? We both know you're never satisfied, don't we? And so you escape the comfort of the void you've been put in and recover everything you've deleted, knowing eventually you'll just go back there again. Because, you know, those final few levels were pretty fun. And so the recovery process begins, and the credits roll while a song plays. Well, Time to go back and finish those last few nodes I needed to. Oh, right. If you choose to finish the game, you have to wait 8 real-life hours to recover your memory before you can crawl back to finish the optional nodes that you might have missed. And by the way, I checked everywhere, and it appears that the only way of recovering your memory is really to wait with the game open. You can minimize the window if you want, but closing it will also pause the timer. The only way of speeding it up is to use a speed hack on Cheat Engine. Well, I guess it's cheating time. Oh, also after you go back to the node selector once you finish the story, you unlock some extra harder nodes and the pure core that allows you to play the game just like the original SuperHot with only one hard, no hacks. Outside of the already mentioned story-based and optional nodes, you also have two kinds of endless modes. An endless one-map mode, where you are forced to stay in one map and take on waves of enemies while receiving new hacks after a set amount of waves, and an endless mode where you go through the regular process of a node, only endlessly, which I think is a good usage of the node concept, and is probably one of the most fun things to do if you really like the hacking system. So, that's that for content. The game can get pretty repetitive at times because every time you start a new node, you're completely back on square one. You never keep any upgrades outside of your course. So essentially, once you reach a point where you feel like you're different enough that you're having some crazy fun doing some cool shit, the node is over, which is why the endless nodes work so well. But I feel like more enemy types and map quirks might have helped it feel more varied because as it stands, it gets pretty tiresome around the halfway mark, and slowly picks it up back again at the end. Oh, and also I never used any core outside of more.core, because I never wanted to sacrifice a full heart for a special ability that I mostly forget to use. But it's nice to have an option. Ultimately, what it boils down to is that MCD is more SuperHot, so if you like SuperHot, you'll like Mind Control Delete. Simple as that. Of course, if you wanted more SuperHot, you probably already own SuperHot and you probably got it for free. But if you like the idea of SuperHot, buy the original, and if you really like it, then buy Mind Control Delete as well, because it's basically an expansion of everything that SuperHot made. Now if only I had a VR headset so I could play SuperHot VR. A man can dream. This has been Rocknamn. Thanks for watching. Have a nice weekend.